Welcome back to Heads Up SA, where we break down South Africa's biggest political and social stories with clarity and insight. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Explosive revelations continue at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. KZN Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi has made damning allegations against members of parliament. He named Democratic Alliance MP Mkhwanazi Barnard, accusing her of being directly involved in breaking the law and fueling malicious attacks within the crime intelligence.
Ms. Mkhwanazi Barnard is a long-serving member of parliament. Maybe you might, beg your pardon, Ms. Mkhwanazi Barnard, maybe you might excuse to some degree, not that I agree with it, Mr. Adams, of being new in that parliament. But Ms. Mkhwanazi Barnard is a veteran in parliament as a lawmaker who ought to understand what belongs where in parliament. And I can confirm, commissioners, that she is appointed by her own political party, which is a Democratic Alliance, to be a member of both the Portfolio Committee on Police that deals with the open account, as well as being a member of the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence, which deals with the covert farms. So she's better positioned to call the department to come and account at the right platform. But we have seen, and I said when I started, I'm going to throw one example of each. I'm not going to go into details with many. There are many examples. But she's one of the leaders in our legislature that is participating in both breaking the law as well as fueling these malicious attacks that are happening within crime intelligence and ultimately directed at Khumalo as the head of that intelligence. I said she is a member of Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. So what I put here on as an example on page 61 under paragraph 186 is a statement that she released in her capacity as a member of the Democratic Alliance, which I'm going to quote these two paragraphs, commissioners, on record. The Democratic Alliance is calling for an immediate and thorough investigation into the recent purchase of a multi-million rand commercial property by the Crime Intelligence Division of the South African Police Service in Bria in Durban. The second paragraph, this purchase, approved by high-ranking officials within crime intelligence, raises serious concern due to the vast amount of taxpayers' money involved, especially as it follows a previous highly questionable property acquisition in Pretoria to the tune of 22.7 million rand, a matter that the Inspector General of Intelligence confirmed is now being investigated. The full statement is available on the internet. You can go and throw it. It comes from Ms. Mkhwanazi Barnard. Now, she's introducing an Inspector General. We know, and we're going to demonstrate that later, that the intelligence community, they operate separately from a normal account. There are three entities established in the country. One is within defense. Another one is state security. The third one is crime intelligence. And both of them are supervised by the Inspector General of Intelligence. And that is the only individual that has got access to all the classified and the work that they do at crime intelligence. And whatever reports this Inspector General of Intelligence discover must communicate with the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. Later in our presentation, commissioners, I will demonstrate in some of the incidents that happen at crime intelligence that involve the Office of the Inspector General of Intelligence being used by politicians, which I had an experience on as I read my portfolio, my profile, the experience I had when I was the acting National Commissioner at the time. We will indicate that because in trying to address the issues that crime intelligence and the political involvement back in 2011, I deposited an affidavit at the Zondo Commission. That affidavit is available. Unfortunately, I was never invited to come and testify at the Zondo Commission. So the patterns that were there, the modus operandi of how they are dealing with things at crime intelligence, back then, it still exists today. So what we see here is a person who has a legal obligation to keep the mouth shut and go to the Joint Standing Committee and present and ventilate on this and hold the Divisional Commission accountable. But she does not use that platform. She goes publicly and discloses this. The risk of this, commissioners, is that it forces the members that are within crime intelligence in the public space to defend themselves by divulging all the secrets of the states that they are aware of, the irregularities within crime intelligence that ranges from the police to the political parties, which the members are not supposed to, according to their vetting and their classification of that information. The platform they have to vent that is within the Inspector General of Intelligence and Parliament, Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. So that's why a provincial commissioner like myself, General Mkhwanazi, I'm not invited to the Joint Standing Committee because I've got no business with that budget. It is the Divisional Commission of Crime Intelligence that has an access to the Joint Standing Committee to go and account, because he's the one that is classified to be there and deal with the matter. So we demonstrate here that the Ms. Kola Barnard have acted, and the Inspector General of Intelligence, we have evidence of that he's part of the instrument of investigating the things or counter-investigation of the things that the team are doing within intelligence. So that's what I thought maybe I must bring forward without going more into details. As I said earlier, these are some of the things that J.R. Kumal is going to come here and is going to elaborate more of what actually is contained on this Gauteng counterintelligence investigation, who is involved, and how the counter, what is the role that the Inspector General of Intelligence is playing in trying to frustrate this project. And we know in public, it's public knowledge, that the very same Inspector General of Intelligence have signed MOUs with entities outside that intelligence structure. Okay. One of them is IP, which is within the police, as an example. So, but we'll demonstrate that, commissioners, because what we're trying to show here and tell the South Africans is that the whole intention is to stop the investigation of this cartel and the operations of this cartel. And all the efforts that we are seeing as we are presenting this today is that there is a concerted effort of making sure that Khumalo and whoever he works with are frustrated in making this to end in court. And different approaches are being applied, as we're going to be demonstrating as we are continuing with this testimony today.
But the spotlight quickly shifted to Fadel Adams, leader of the National Coloured Congress. According to Mkhwanazi, Adams has somehow gained access to classified intelligence documents, information strictly meant for the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence. The commissioner says Adams abused his position on Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Police to access and exploit these documents.
So Mr. Adams appeared to have came into the position of an intelligence information. And this information is classified in its nature that Mr. Adams should not be in possession of. So it is an information that is intended for another structure of Parliament. If it comes to his position and as a lawmaker, as a person who is serving in Parliament, he ought to know that when I'm in possession of information from crime intelligence that is classified, it must be handed over to the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence so that it can be interrogated, regardless of the status of that information. So that is expectation that one has towards a lawmaker, such as Mr. Fazel Adams, who is currently serving in Parliament. Because this classified information we are referring to here, it's involving personal information of individuals that is deposited at crime intelligence or extracted by crime intelligence when the crime intelligence is conducting the vetting process for security clearance for individuals. It's a very sensitive information because it digs deeper to your personal information, your relatives, your criminal records, and everything that the state wants to test in order to confirm whether you qualify to be given a security clearance certificate or not. Such a clearance will then allow you to be in possession of sensitive material. The same applies to the members of the Joint Standing Committee in Parliament. It is only those members of Joint Standing Committee in Parliament that are vetted, and their information is in the disposal of this intelligence structure. And once they pass that vetting, certificates are issued to them, and that is the entry for those politicians to become members of the Joint Standing Committee.
Mkhwanazi went further, exposing how Adams used this information. Adams reportedly went to Cape Town and opened a case at a local police station, targeting vetting procedures within crime intelligence. He even filed allegations of financial irregularities within the political task team, accusing them of being nothing more than an armed force of Begicel. But Adams didn't stop there. He later opened a similar case in Soweto at the Orlando police station, essentially doubling down on his claims. After lodging the cases, Adams sent an email directly to Minister Mkhwanazi, complaining that both provinces were undermining his complaints. But here's the catch. Mkhwanazi highlighted inconsistencies in the timing of Adams' statements, suggesting that the MP's version of events doesn't add up.
These are the timelines that I'm putting it before the commission. That 29 October, 3 cases in Cape Town. 2 days later, 31st of October, 3 cases, similar complaint in Orlando and Johannesburg, some 1,500 kilometers other part. A day later, a complaint to the minister that the 2 cases or the 2 provinces where he registered cases, there's some efforts to undermine investigations. So he's got evidence that there's an effort to undermine investigation on both of these provinces. That's why he then sends a complaint to the Minister of Police. So it is interesting indeed to know that this claim that Mr. Adams presented in Cape Town, he claims on his email that he knows that there was an interception of the investigation and the docket had been intercepted. So I really don't know what does that mean? That you register a case in one instance, Commissioner, a complaint is a statement is deposited at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The case is registered at 8 o'clock in the evening. But 2 days later, he claims an interception. Perhaps even by the time he claims, that docket has not even been allocated to the investigating officer. But he is already moving to another province to complain about that. So this is what he puts in the complaint to the minister, that there's interception of the docket in Cape Town. And he further claimed that he had been notified that the Gauteng Police Department had followed the same modus operandi as the Western Cape Provincial Commissioner.
In his defense, Adams hit back at the commissioner. He says the so-called classified documents were slipped under his office door anonymously. He insists he only took the information to the police because he believed it was the right thing to do. And Adams is unapologetic, going as far as saying that if the same situation happened again, he would not hesitate to do it again.
The abuse of his seeming influence on the police structures at the highest echelon.
Yes, certain documentation was slipped under my office door. I had to read it 3 times, maybe 4 times, because it was unbelievable. I decided that yes, there might be a case for criminality here, so I took it to the nearest police station. Now, if General Mkhwanazi feels that you have something like top secret crime in this country, then he must step forward and say so. I certainly do not buy into that narrative. This country is tired of crime. It doesn't matter who's committing it. I don't care if it's a police general. I don't care if it's the president himself. This is where Mkhwanazi and I differ profusely. So, yes, I was in possession of evidence, of information. I took it to the police station, and if this man feels that I should be arrested for it, then let him go and lay the charge. Because South Africans should no longer have to carry the burden, the tax.
But Mkhwanazi didn't stop with Adams and Kola Barnard. He hinted that they are not the only MPs implicated. This suggests that the rot inside Parliament and its relationship with crime intelligence could run much deeper than what he has already revealed. So what do you think? Did Fadiel Adams act as a whistleblower, or did he recklessly expose classified intelligence? And what does it mean if sitting MPs are indeed exploiting crime intelligence for political gain? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more updates on the Madlanga Commission right here on Heads Up SA. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged.